Awake TV network show, the second episode, the third show. And I'm Ofkje from the Netherlands. I'm a transformational teacher and a talent coach and a Jungian therapist. Every week on Wednesday, I will host this show, and it will be 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon New York time, 5 p.m. in London, and 6 p.m. Paris, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, and Berlin. So the theme of my show will be archetypes and talents. I made this beautiful box. I will use this in my show, and I show my cards, and you can choose them and look at them. And I hope that you can open your treasure box with this show and in this show to discover your own archetypes. You can meet your inner dream team, the archetypes and talents you use every day. And I will tell you more about this in a few minutes. For every show, I have a special guest. Today, it's Paul Lowe from England, living in Spain. He's a founder of Speaking from the Heart. He's written a few books about interviews from people who speak from the heart. You can become an ambassador, and he's doing very special projects, and he's trying to make this world a better place. So I want to hear from all my guests their life story, and I'm especially interested in the life shifts they made. What role did the archetypes play in their lives? What are the hidden talents and how they rediscover them? Every show I end also with a special offer. It's about one of my game boxes to play with, or a special offer to do a session with me or by my special guest. So watch this show till the end, please. I tell you some more about this archetype because a lot of people don't know what is an archetype. Archetypes are the mirror of your own soul, a kind of inner personalities, and you have a light side and a shadow side. We will look at that. And they help you connect with your soul, with your heart, and your subconscious, and your intuition. But everybody has archetypes. But most people don't know them. And that's a shame. For connecting with your archetypes and your soul means you make decisions with your heart, in line with your mission, for a more fulfilling life. In my show, you will see how you can meet these archetypes. I call that imagination. It's a kind of visualization. In this way, you can get more information from your subconscious. So what you can think with your head to come from deep down inside, from a deeper layer. Your most important archetypes are your inner dream team. They help you to open your inner treasure box, because sometimes there are dragons on your treasure box and you can open them, and that's a pity, because you're so much more than you think you are. Let's play together. Life is a game. Let's play it. In these shows, I will tell you more about my other game boxes. I really like to make playful life. And I talk about these aspects with my guest. I told you Paul Lowe from England, living in Spain, is our guest in this show. He's telling you about his organization. He's the founder of Speaking from the Heart. He's talking with a lot of people. He made 3 beautiful podcasts with me, and a lot of other people. He's doing that every day. And yeah, he's making this world a better place, doing projects in Ghana with trees. He will tell you all about it in this show. So let's listen to him and welcome him, Paul Lowe. And then we have Paul Lowe from Speaking from the Heart. Welcome, Paul, to this Awake TV show network, the second episode. You're my third guest, so hello there.
Hello, Ofkje, and thank you for inviting me on. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. So nice to see you again. We met last year or the year before in Spain, and we had that click, and I was really interested in what you're doing with your podcast and Speaking from the Heart. So you're doing a lot of things to make the world better, and I love that a lot. In the meantime, I became an ambassador for Speaking from the Heart. So I would give you my invitation to tell something about yourself.
Okay, tell you something about myself. Okay, so to keep it real, I mean, we could be here for hours, days, we could be here for weeks. To keep it really simple, I think, I feel, I know from a very early age, my reason for being on this earth is to contribute and make it a better place. And that in a former life, when I was a child and I had nowhere near the intellectual or the emotional maturity or understanding or intellectual ability to understand why all this darkness prevailed in my life. What I did understand in its very most simplest, basic, crude form were I had a certain strength about me. I had something about me that most other kids my age didn't. And
You're
that
a
was
survivor.
strength.
You're a survivor, I think. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
yes. Yeah.
And absolute survivor. But even more than that, it was about actually understanding or embracing that I will fight for those that can't fight for themselves. I actually, for many years, used to coin that phrase by, I will fight for the underdog. And then people used to say to me more later in life, Paul, that's very patronizing. But it's interesting, Ofkje, that I still hold that, not so much the words, but that fire, that passion, that desire to do that. It's stronger now than it's ever been. And people say, well, do you still use those words, fight for the underdog? I don't dismiss them. I certainly don't dismiss them, because I think the action that we take in life is far more important
Oh
than
yeah, it's
the
about
word.
doing it, not talking about it, only just to do it. And you're
Absolutely.
a big example for me that you do it. Eh?
Yeah.
Because you had a rough youth. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I asked you to write a life story in my life shift story book. And I wanted to talk about you, about your life story. You did really some big life shifts in your life. So that's why I invited you to write a story.
Yeah.
And then we met also your warrior, your rebel. We're talking about archetypes today, then you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have a lot of them, and you met them all. That's really nice. And I also asked you to write the preface of the second book we published, The Life Shift
Yes.
Experiences. And you're a really good teacher also, so we can learn from you. You're
Thank
here
you.
to learn other people.
Yeah.
And then in the opposite, you invite me for your books because we have the same in common, to publish life stories. And it
Yeah.
was an honor to be also in your book, in the third one. In the meantime, you already published 3 books about this, the Speaking from Your Heart stories, also
Yeah.
about big changing in lives by people. And it was an honor for me to talk about my archetypes, how I turned them from the shadow side. Everybody has shadow side, to the
Yeah.
light side. And it was a pleasure to do that. And also for me, very healing to write a story. So thank you for that invitation. And now it's my turn to invite you in this Awake TV network show to talk about yourself, because you're not so in the front every time. Also, when we have meetings, we're the Speaking from the Heart. So it's a pleasure to put you in the light today and tell me something about your life stories, and how you to become a warrior. And where's the warrior now? I show the archetype card. You see, you are a warrior, you were a warrior, and you change your warrior with more feminine energy and with a heart. You see, he has a heart in his sphere. So you're working and living with your heart, from your heart, and speaking from your heart. Please, do you want to share something about your warrior, how he exists in your life or not anymore?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ofkje. That's a great lead in. Yeah, again, in very simple terms, I think my warrior, certainly in my early days, was driven by fear. He was frightened, he was vulnerable, he was insecure because of the lessons that he was being taught, or he was brought up with at the hands of the stepfather, which
How was
was
his
sickening.
stepfather? Was he a cruel man, or what? Yeah.
I would actually, and I have used this word, and it's a very, very, very strong, powerful word. Um, evil is the word I would use. Evil.
Wow. Mhm.
And
So you need that warrior. You need a warrior to survive. You were that underdog, or what were you were talking about in the beginning?
well, at the age of 13 and a half, Ofkje, I attempted suicide because I couldn't cope anymore. I just wanted to end it all.
Mm.
You know,
So
by then
bad it
I'd
was. Yeah.
got a drink addiction. I was already addicted to alcohol as
Mm.
a way of numbing the pain.
Mm.
But what I sort of quickly realised is alcohol will not numb emotional pain.
No.
It
Just for a
won't.
few moments, maybe, but yeah.
If that, you become oblivious to it.
Mm.
And so I created a belief system outside myself, and it was around a football club. Would you believe
Mm.
that
Yeah,
I
you
meet?
were fun on sport, the football, wasn't it?
Yes. And I gave the focus, the energy, the intention, my love, my devotion to
Mm.
my mother and to my football team. Now, my
Good.
mother was too
Yeah.
busy taking beatings, protecting me
Mm-hmm.
and her life, and she was self harming and attempting suicide. And there was this crazy, and she was taking daily beatings off my stepfather.
Mm.
So this was normal life.
Yeah.
And obviously as a child, it was normal. I didn't see how anybody else lived to tell me this was wrong. But
Mm.
what I did struggle with, Ofkje, is actually just surviving. And
Mm.
so I created this belief system that, one day I would play professional football
Yeah.
for my team that I loved. And what happened in late March 1974, in the space of 2 days, they lost two games. And that was it. That was enough for me, because what came through my mind then and through my heart was this whole language that I'd built up, this belief system that, how dare you betray me? How can you break my heart by losing these two games like this?
And there you were.
And there I was. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, if I can't rely on you, football team, who can I rely on? And this is the mindset that I'd created around
Mm.
this craziness. It was
Mm.
absolute craziness.
I think that was the moment that you created your inner personalities and all those archetypes who will help you later in your inner dream team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what helps you? The football, you could express your emotions, the cruelties.
The football, do you know the one big thing? Because something happened, that particular Saturday. It was a Saturday evening. It was the 23rd of March,
You still know. Yeah.
1974. I remember it well. And after the football team had lost, um, I thought, right, okay, I know where I'll go. I come from originally from like a mining area. So there was some
Mm-hmm.
caves where the coal lorries used to go through,
Mm-hmm.
very isolated. And I ran away from home. I took a razor blade and I went there to end it all.
Wow.
And what happened was I went into this isolated cave, ready to basically cut my left wrist. And what happened, Ofkje, was something pushed me from behind. Now, there was nobody else in that cave but me. And
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't cried for years as a child. I hadn't cried. But something pushed me forward. I fell flat on my face. I hit the ground and I just cried and I cried and I cried and I sobbed.
And
And
everything
when
came out. Yeah. Wow.
everything just came away, and when I got up and I looked around for the blade, wasn't
No,
there.
right.
It had gone.
Good. And
I don't.
now you're still here.
But that was divine intervention, and people, and I've not been too vocal about this, because my part of my archetype as that warrior, Ofkje, is to live in the here and now, to live with the real,
Mm.
because I still see that darkness, that depression,
Oh yeah.
those dark moments, the people I work with, that, and this reality of dark, horrible life.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one half of the coin. So that was my
Where came the light in your life? That's important too. There
divine
was a
feminine.
transition somewhere, wasn't it?
Divine feminine. Well, what happened then was that realization that for me, and I can remember, I can still picture myself now. I can still picture myself, Ofkje, saying to myself out loud, right, I will never, ever run away again, ever.
Mm.
From now on, I fight. And
Yeah.
that's what I did. I fight.
Hmm. So
So
you
I
go
went
back to
back.
your mom or what? Did
Pardon?
you go back?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went back and I got another sort of beating off the stepfather. I called him the Beast. That was his name, the Beast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I went back and I got another beating off the Beast. And I said in front of him and my mother, right, that's the last time you ever do that to either me or my mother, because the next time I will kill you. My
Wow.
promise.
That
I
is
will kill
tough.
you.
Yeah. And did it happen again, Paul, or what?
He tried. And what happened, it was a few days later, because my beatings were more almost daily off key.
Mm-hmm.
These weren't sort of spread out, they were regular. And I was late home from school. It was a very humorous story, and I wrote about it in the book. But anyway,
Is that a rebel you were at that moment?
that was the rebel. Yeah,
There he is.
yeah, the rebel.
And what did he do? What kind of rebel were you to handle this stuff?
Well, by this time, I'm in this early sort of stages of this new journey, Ofkje. I've embraced this identity now. I will fight for everyone. If people can't fight for themselves, I will do it for them. And it got me in a lot of trouble, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of trouble.
So there your companion came and helped people, coach them, and heal them. And that's what you're doing these days in life, isn't it? To help
Yes, it
people.
is.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Ofkje, around that warrior that was
Yeah.
driven by fear,
Mm-hmm.
the modern day warrior is driven by love.
Yes.
And what I had with that realization, and I suppose what I've worked through over the years,
Mm-hmm.
is that understanding of we do have a choice. We
So
really
yeah,
do have a choice
every
between
day, every day.
fear
Yeah.
and love.
Yes. Marianne Williamson tells it in a book. You may have choices. Yeah. Also in the Course of Miracles. But the warrior is in a transformation, and there's still this passion to help those people. Yeah. So it hasn't left you. This warrior is still with you every day.
Massively. I would say, Ofkje is as strong now as he's ever been.
Mm.
But he goes about things a different way, and that's the learning.
Yes, that's the
the
lesson. That's the teacher you have. You have your own lessons, and you share your lessons in the books. And when you do your podcasts and ask people, but can you tell me something more about this feminine energy? Because I'm interested in that. And maybe watchers and listening are also interested how you use this feminine energy, what you haven't had before, because you haven't learned that in your youth, only by your mom.
I think that became more apparent that as from an early teen, then through adolescence, early adulthood, that I've always had a strong feminine dominant energy in my life. When I was a child, it was my grandmother, then my mother, and then I got girlfriends, and then, more serious relationships. But that immense power and I can't define it, and neither do I even want to try, but how that kind of taming effect on me personally, and how that gave me even more strength, and to see that there was actually another more powerful way in life, to embroil in love, to build the family unit, to do the simple things in life. I wasn't very good at doing all that stuff, by the way, because I was still wild. I was still in this very ego-driven, fear way of being. I will fight, I will fight, I will fight.
And I will win. I
will win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And very often the price for victory, as I saw it, was very, very high, because it cost me relationships, it cost me good career moves, it cost me homes, it cost me everything over the years.
Wow. So, and there's also this question in the book, who am I? So you were an adult, you became an adult, you were in your puberty, became a grown-up man, and then there's the question, who am I? Can you explain that question? Who are you?
That's a very, very powerful, because I went through a lot of identities growing up, a lot of identities. What I now understand, Ofkes, they were masks, because I was still hurting inside. I
Mm.
was still fighting on the outside as the warrior,
Mm.
but on the inside, I had this inner turmoil, because on the inside, I knew that this thing here called a heart
Mm.
was being denied. It
Mm.
was being allowed to play every now and again, but then put it back inside.
Mm.
Every now and again, it was never being showed to a guy ever. But where that feminine energy was in my life, boy,
Mm.
did I open it up and show it and let it
Mm.
out.
Mm.
And of course, then when that relationship broken down, because 9 times out of 10, I sabotaged that,
Mm.
because I had deservedness issues, I had worthiness issues
Mm.
from my conditioning as a child. I'm not good enough. I'll never be loved. How can this girl or this woman love
You
me?
didn't
Why?
learn it. You didn't learn it. You had a bad example. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. So
So who am I? Why
who
you?
am I? That's a question that's become more and more and more prominent as time's gone by.
Mm. With all those
And
masks and all those inner personalities and all those helpers from archetypes, which one helps you the most? The warrior helps you to transform with the heart. And the writers, maybe you write also your life stories in your books.
I think what helps me off key immensely, and in fact it's even more powerful than help, what defines me these days is that knowing that actually this physical body, this mind, they're not who I am. They're a part of me. This little finger is a part of me.
It's not the whole body.
No,
No.
I think so many of us, and I did it for decades, thinking my mind, mind is king. Mind is not king.
No.
It's a part of me.
It's
But I
ego.
use I use this phrase quite a lot, off key. Do
Yeah,
not let
I love it.
tail
I love it.
do not let tail wag dog. And what I mean by that is this thing up here called a mind is like a tail on a dog. I am the dog, and this
Mm.
is my tail. I do not allow this to wag me.
Yes.
I am the dog. I will tell this. And it's about flipping that and taking that control of my life back, so that I let and allow life to happen through me,
Mm.
good experiences and bad experiences, because
Mm.
there's only my perception on that as a human,
Mm.
but I'm actually beyond human. A human is only a body, it's only a mind.
Yes.
And in a given moment today, I'm happy talking to Ofkje. But in an hour's time, I don't know. I might experience something a bit more challenging that temporarily
Mm.
makes me feel sad.
Mm.
Both are great, but they come and they go, and they don't define me,
No.
because life happens through me,
Yes.
not to me.
No. Through me. Yeah. Oh, that's a big lesson also for the listeners, maybe. But you know this hermit, do you?
The hermit. Now this one's going to be interesting. The other two off key I could relate to very strongly. Not so much this one. So
Mm.
I'm in your hands on this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this hermit, it's in a bubble. And sometimes I know you like to go to the man's cave.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's what about a man's cave. So everybody needs this special moment for himself. And then
Yeah.
you're in a bubble with your tea or your beer or your laptop, whatever. And then you feel safe. Nobody's coming in. And that's good. That's the light side of the hermit archetype. But there is also a shadow side. When you go for the suicide situation, you go in that cave too. And then you get rid of everything. You don't want to live anymore. So that's a negative side.
Mm.
So it can change the light side and the shadow side. It's for us good that you can embrace the light side and the shadow side. But do you need this hermit in your life? The positive side. Do you like to meet this hermit? Because you don't know it yet?
Um, I mean, what's coming to me off key based on that, do I need that hermit? I like a lot of reflective time. I mean, the kind of, the drink addiction, the past are experiences. They don't define me. They're things that happened. And
Yeah.
there's been a lot of good things that's happened.
You can
Either
change
way, they're
them.
gone.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah.
So where am I now? Do I still have that home? It's a great question.
Like that man cave we're talking about sometimes?
I like my space because I
Yeah.
think to create space for people is one
Mhm.
of the greatest gifts we can give in life,
Yes, to yourself. Yeah.
and to ourselves, but to
Yes,
others.
yes, too. And how do you give your space to others? Because you put people also in the light, like I do, I like to do. And when does that bring it to you? Give it yourself also some space, or what?
Well, I think when you live in a world of awareness,
Hmm.
by definition, awareness is infinite. So there's more than enough space for all of us anyway.
Oh yeah.
So my space is, maybe I might not take a call for an hour or a couple of hours. And maybe that's my headphone time where
Mm,
I'm listening to panpipe music or meditations.
mm,
That's my space, that's my time. I
yeah.
don't want to have any connection with the outside world, via dialogue.
Mm,
Because I go back to what I said, Ofkje, that when you have that awareness, I believe, to create that massive open space that's infinite,
mm, mm.
it's just about finding that metaphoric area or place where I just need an hour. And maybe that's music, maybe that's contemplation,
It's up to you.
maybe
Yeah.
it's different for all of us.
Mm,
Let me take that a stage further. One of the things that I've learned also over the years is, I think we've all got one of these things nowadays called a mobile phone.
yeah. Yeah.
What I look upon this is this thing here called a mobile phone. It's a supercomputer.
Oh yeah.
And to go back to that fear driven archetype, that warrior,
Mm,
that's who I was. I was a mobile phone. I was self sufficient. It
good.
was all about me,
Mm.
me, me, I, I.
I
So I'm a
want to win.
great mobile
I
phone.
want to win. That was all about.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm the boss.
I'm a great mobile phone.
Yeah.
I'm number one mobile phone, blah,
Mm,
blah, blah.
blah blah blah. Yeah.
Which is okay. But what I've learned over the years, Ofkje, it's not okay.
No.
Because imagine if I call you now, I've got Ofkje's number in here. Hello, Ofkje, blah, 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 blah. We're talking. So I'm talking from my energy.
Yeah.
The problem with that is there's something in here called a battery.
Yeah.
And when that battery's flat, I can't communicate
Mm,
anymore because I am limited. I
yeah.
am very limited. So
Mm,
what do I need to do? I need to tap into outside power.
yeah.
I need something like this
Yeah.
to connect
Mm,
outside of me,
mhm.
called source.
And when do you need that hermit, Paul? When do you need? When are you disconnected? When do you don't want to connect?
Well, that happens daily. And
Mm,
I can disconnect with myself because, as there's an old saying, isn't there, that life gets in the way. We become human beings. We
yeah.
are, I think it was Deepak Chopra said, we
Yeah.
are spiritual beings having human challenges.
Yes.
And I think part of our awareness, certainly my own off key, is, am I in some elevated, high flying place? No, I'm not. I
Mm,
am vulnerable. I have insecurities. I am fallible. I have weaknesses. I am a
everybody
human
else.
being.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think what we learn to do is we learn to catch that a lot quicker, and
Mm,
we plug back in to say, my
yeah.
battery's running down. I need to plug into source.
Yes.
This is my space, my time to make me stronger again, me more energetic. Now I've got something to go and give with another person, or
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
Yeah. But now you have enough energy to be the spinner also archetype, to connect with other people. Here it is. Yeah.
The
And you,
spinner, right?
yeah, it's nice. It's a connector. It's all. She's like a spy in a web, and when she's connected, she can walk through the web, and then you're connected with everybody. But the most important thing is that you are connected with yourself.
Yes.
So there where it starts, when you get that foundation, I also like to talk with you about that, about the speaking from the hearts. Because you're really, I go quick now to another archetype, to the founder, because you're really the founder of the speaking from the heart. So can you tell me about something you created yourself? It's all about what you make for the other person, for the rest of the world. We have a beautiful group of people connected by you, by the founder, making this podcast, making these books, making these gatherings with all over the world. I made so many friends with that, so I'm really grateful to you for that. So can you tell me something about this founder archetype you have?
That's the simple realization, Ofkje, that within this massive open space of awareness, together we are stronger.
Oh yeah.
We are stronger if we
Don't have to do
collaborate.
it alone. So like you did when you were a kid, you don't have to do it alone. So when you be the spinner and make that connection and become the founder and build that foundation, you can chest on the board with
Yeah,
other people with a
it's,
special strategy. And you do wonderful things.
thank you.
And you're buying trees all over the world.
The farmer.
Can you tell me about the trees, the tree project you're doing?
The tree project, I think, is immensely important because certainly the one that within one of the villages in Ghana, it's not just about planting trees and providing oxygen to the planet. It's about providing food and fruit to these impoverished villages. And
Mm,
so there's this whole kind of, it's much more powerful than just planting trees, because what that's giving people is that independence, that strength, that control back to say we can control our own futures. There's
mm,
a real big message there.
mm,
So, you know, on the surface of it, yes, it's about the trees, but actually it's about so much more. It's about empowering people to believe in themselves again,
mm.
to take that control back, to sustain themselves. I think the old saying off key is teach people to fish. And it's about that and giving people hope.
It's your teacher.
Absolutely, teach.
Have you
Absolutely.
been in Ghana? Have you been in Ghana?
Not yet. So we're coordinating all the administration and getting all the basics in place.
I would love to go.
But watch this space on that one. Watch this space, because I am a great believer in, and this is the doing side of the warrior,
I
of
love
my
that. I'm
warrior.
a doer too, so I like to hear what you're doing with that.
Yeah. So
Mm,
the doing side of, you know, obviously the being side, the energy, the emotion, the love, the compassion that goes behind it is one side, a very, very, very important side of the coin. But it's only one side. The
mm,
other side is then doing it. So to go to Ghana and actually see what's happening and work with people and inspire them,
mm.
rather than it's just some theoretical project.
Yeah, only pay the money for it. That's not enough.
No, it's
So
not enough.
this is also about the lessons that you can bring them, or we can bring them together, or the
Yeah.
people can bring them in these countries who need some more purpose, money, everything. So you learned yourself a lot of lessons. Can you tell me what lessons you want to share to the listeners, to the world?
Wow. Oh, blimey. I mean, we could,
Big questions.
yeah. I always sign off key on my podcast with this very simple message. I mean, I would love to spend days, weeks, and months answering that brilliant question you've just asked. But obviously, we haven't got days, weeks, and months.
No.
We've probably got a few minutes. So I'm going to give you one answer that, and
Yeah,
as I say, I always sign off my podcast by
yeah.
saying this: no matter what you do in life, always walk your path with heart. Because if you don't, the alternative is fear, and that's a very, very, very dark path. And it is a choice.
Mm,
Walk it with heart, and that will give you light. Walk it with fear, and it's going to be very dark. And it's
mm,
as simple as that. It's a very black and white, simple choice. And
mm,
it is a simple choice.
mhm. What helps you to go to get rid of that fear? Everybody has fear.
Hmm.
What archetype would help you?
Um,
When you have pain in your soul, you have a sore throat, the throat chakra. What can help you? Which archetype can help you? You know what I mean? Maybe which side I want to go.
I get on the phone, the
Yeah.
metaphoric phone this time. I plug it back into source, and I ask for some guidance on what's the best way forward here. But the big difference is, Ofkje, I'm plugging that phone into the source,
Mm,
something, a higher power. And
mm,
that's different for all of us.
mm,
For some people, it's God. For some people,
mm.
it's the universe. For some people, it's spirit. You know, that's a very, I believe for all of us, that is our most powerful, personal,
Yeah,
intimate
yeah. If
relationship.
you dare that, if you're ready for that, if you experience that, yes, it's a good solution. But what I mentioned, Paul, is that it's also important for a man like you. You have so much doing so good work in the world. It takes also your energy. What do you do to relax yourself?
Do more projects.
Yeah,
Do more
great.
projects.
Yeah.
Because I think when we're going into life's purpose now, and going back all those years, Ofkje, to realizing what my role on this planet, you know, as an instrument, I'm only an instrument. It's not about me, my ego, and what I'm doing.
Mm, mm,
It's part of an energy system and identifying my a much higher power, a way, way, way beyond
mm,
anything that I, as a mere human being, can get
mm,
my head around. But I've learned and I know how powerful, and I've accepted that
mm,
because I look at the light, the joy, the love, the power it brings to the world, and certainly my world. And that is a bit like, you know, it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So
yeah.
when I get a buzz, or, you know, I'll just, okay, so where's the, I'll ride on that energy wave of, okay, so what's the next project then? You know,
Mm.
let me get my
And
phone
what
out.
I
Is it plugged
mentioned, what
in?
I
Yeah, it's
mentioned.
plugged in.
Yeah, well, we talked about we both got 60 years. I just passed 60. We talked about this musician. That's why I mentioned with the throat. It's to open your voice, to get more air in your lungs. It's good to sing.
Yeah,
And we
absolutely.
both love singing.
Yeah,
So, which
yeah.
would be what will be a good title for a nice song?
Wow. Okay.
Jokey at the end of the interview, but it's for real. I think it's very good when you work so hard and share so much to refill the source with your batteries with the source or whatever, or with a musician.
Yeah.
Can we do a yeah? Can we do a little meditation about a musician just to see what he can bring you? You
Well, I
like?
know, yes, we can, Ofkje, absolutely. I know what he's bringing me now, and I'm quite happy to share that. But equally, absolutely, we can do the meditation. Yeah.
Hmm. So, may I invite you the last minutes to close your eyes, Paul, and see how your musician will look like. Can you tell me, is it a woman or is it a man? Can you see something?
Yeah.
And what is he bringing to you? Does he bring an instrument or he only want to sing with you? What's going to happen?
She.
She is a she, yeah.
She's bringing her divine feminine power and love.
Mm. And did she bring a microphone or what?
Oh, absolutely. You could say she doesn't really need it, but she's bought her microphone.
Mm. And what did she wear? Can you see it?
A long, glittering gown.
Wow. Party time, Paul. And did she show you her text of her song or what she want to
Yeah.
do? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to share?
Yeah. It's called This Is My Life.
Wow. Like Gloria Gaynor. This
And
is my life. I
yeah.
won't.
Well, the one I'm thinking of goes back for Dame Shirley Bassey,
Oh
but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it too.
Yeah. He's, yeah.
Can
That is
can
the,
you sing it for me?
what
Just
now?
yeah, why not?
Blimey. There's nothing like putting somebody on the spot, is there?
It's live. Maybe there's a producer who gives you a contract.
I tell you what I'll do with you, Ofkje. I'll make you a promise that the next time we meet face to face, I'll sing it to you personally. But what I will do, for you know, for to kind of act as a halfway house, I'll give the opening lines of the essence of the song from Dame
Yeah,
Shirley Bassey.
please share it with me. Yeah, and
Yeah, and it's as I look around and see a great big part of me This is my life. Guess I'll just add up the score and count the things I'm grateful for in my life. This is my life, and I don't give a damn for lost emotions. Today, tomorrow, love will come and find me. I've such a lot of love I want to give. Let me live, let me live. And
Wow.
she really belts it out. And so basically, what she's saying is no matter how much hardship, pain, darkness, desperation, despair that's gone off, I don't care. It's gone. It's over. It's finished. You'll never beat me because I'm here. I'm full of love. I'm full of power. And I'm here to give it to you if you need it. Because you know why? This is my life.
Thank you. I received it. And I want to give you applause. To share these intimate words were yours. And to share it on TV. It's wonderful, Paul. So I think you're a really special person to be on this earth. And you are, for me, a big example to make that big, big transformation where you were in the darkness and now you're so in the light. So it was really a pleasure to meet you, to greet you today. And I hope we will have a lot of other talks together. And it was nice to meet your archetypes and spoke about it. And I hope the listeners enjoyed our conversation. So is there something you want to share with people outside?
I suppose the only thing I'd like to share humorously is that the next time I've made that promise to Ofkje, I'm just hoping that she forgets.
Yeah. So can you tell me where we can find you, Paul? The Speaking from the Heart, to become ambassador, everything. Can you tell me?
Well, the commercial side of what I do with my work can be found through my website, paul-lowe.com, Lowe with an E. So that's paul-lowe.com. And all my social media links can be found through my website. But the other side, Ofkje, that you're relating to there, Speaking from Our Hearts, our movement there. There's a website called speakingfromourhearts.org. And that gives an overview of some of our people, and, what we're trying to do in the world, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I will put it on the screen when we finish after this meeting, so people can find you, and maybe they want to do a podcast or something with you, because we're sending out with Awake TV network all over the world, China, Asia, Australia. So people know you now. I'm happy for that.
I'll just so that answers. So whenever I ask myself that question that you asked earlier on, Ofkje, who am I? People can tell me who I am because they know who I am.
Yeah, now they know. But thank you. I think you're a tough guy. Thank you very much for your time. And it was really grateful to having you here. And speak soon. Thank you very much.
Ofkje. Thank you.
Speak soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. So wasn't this inspiring to listen to Paul Lowe's his life story and his interesting conversation? Paul sure has seen a lot of the shadow side of the warrior. He made a real life shift and now is still a warrior, but in a totally different way and with a different mission. Paul too wrote about his life story in one of my Life Shift books, and he also wrote the preface in it. He's a spinner as well as a founder, and in that capacity found it Speaking from the Heart. At the end of the show, I will give you more information about Paul and where you can find him, about maybe being an ambassador of the foundation Speaking from the Heart. I've been interested in life stories for many years, and I've heard many, many stories of people who turned their lives upside down. Life shifts, I found out, they are never easy, and people go through most of the time a lot of pain, but they are worth this trouble. Most of people say afterwards, yes, I must have done this many years before on an earlier moment. So I collected some of these amazing stories in these two books I published last year. in the life story experience and the life shift stories. And all those people, they came from all over the world. They wrote a life story, how they started, how was it to make that shift. You can order that on Amazon. And we wrote, all those contributors wrote the stories to encourage other people to make that shift, because everybody would love to make a big life shift, but it's difficult. But it came from Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Netherlands, USA, United Kingdom. It's great stuff, and I hope you will inspire you to follow your heart as well. So if you want to order, let me know. From Paul's story, you can learn how important it is to know your archetypes. He is a great warrior, especially in the light and the shadow side. By knowing your archetypes, you connect with your inner self and your mission in life. Your most important archetypes will form your inner dream team, and they help you in daily life. And they help you to open your treasure box, even if there are any dragons on it. For you have so much power inside of you, it has to come out. For everybody is that a good reason. And you know what? You yourself, you hold that key, and you can open your own treasure box. So do it and go for it. To connect with your archetypes, I made a special card deck in a beautiful treasure box. You can open it, and it's called Archetypes and Talents. I showed you already few cards of it, and you see on this box also the dragon with the key to open it in his mouth. A beautiful picture made by Lisa Rutten from Amsterdam. With this box you can discover yourself with the archetypes. I show you how you can do that, and every show I will pick up a few archetypes and talk about this with the person I'm interviewing. At the end of the show, I will tell you how you can buy this box with a special reduction today. I also made some other games about special themes. It's like self-compassion, because a lot of people have difficulties with self-love. They reject themselves, and this card box can help you to open up your heart again. And also burnout, also wonderful cards with some matches in it to relight your fire. It's a very playful way, because I think life is a game and let's play it. You can find them in my web shop on my website, ofkje.com. Next time, my special guest will be Caroline Fransen from the Netherlands. Caroline is an image power coach. She also works with archetypes and analyzes especially family constellations. And she's also a very famous relation therapist. So I hope you will join me again next Wednesday on the Awake TV network, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon New York time, 5 p.m. London time, and 6 p.m. Paris, Amsterdam, Copenhagen, and Berlin. The special offer for today is the reduction of 24 euros on the card deck, box, archetypes, and talents, which I showed you. Instead of 149 euros, it will be 125 euros. So you can find it in the offer on my page on the Awake TV network. For more information, you can go to my website, ofkje.com. And for more information on my guest, Paul Lowe, you go to www.paul-lowe.com. For speaking from our hearts, you can go to www.speakingfromourhearts.org. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope I can see you again next Wednesday with Caroline Fransen from the Netherlands. Bye bye.